What a title. What an invigorating title. Don't you just want to click on that? My anxiety and my depression. What if that was just clickbait? What if I just didn't talk? I was just like, yeah, that sounds like it sucks. All right, moving on. But no. That's not what's happening. So let's just go. Let's just go right into it. It's all real. If you're seeming shocked by this, same, absolutely. So I was diagnosed with it. So let's just go through the timeline, because this is mainly, I'm doing this for two reasons, right? To show why I was absent many times, and to talk about I don't know, because it's talked about, but it's also, I don't know, I feel like there's something missing in the discussion anyway. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I want to talk. Obviously, I want to talk about it. It's personal to me, and this is my Mark Karski channel. But I also want to. I mean, I have a voice, and just to, I don't know, because I feel like a lot of people see it as a shameful type thing or something like that. So if you could just talk openly about it, it'll be awesome. This hat is annoying the shit out of me because I can't get a good seal, and I can hear a little bit outside. I can hear a little bit of an echo, which is totally fine. We'll get over it. So it started, I think I've had anxiety my entire life. I think that's just been riding around. Okay, I'm going to take this hat off. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. So I think I've had anxiety my entire life, completely untreated pretty much. Because I mean, it's hard to describe what, to me, I feel like everybody's had anxiety at least once in their life, but I don't know. I feel like until I had anxiety attacks, or terrible anxiety, I've never really known about it. Same with depression. If you've never had depression, this is what I always tell people. If you haven't had depression, it doesn't exist. And I've never even been really sad, really, up until the depression, which was insane. Because it's so unlike me. It's so, and that's another thing. It doesn't obviously pick or choose. It doesn't matter who it is at all. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't pick and choose. So it's so hard to describe, in which I will go through this and try and talk about it and describe what I've been through and things like that, and talk about more things, I guess. That's what this is, a podcast we talk. So November, I thought I was just burning out because I was feeling super anxious and wasn't really able to record, and I was like, oh man, maybe I'm just burning out. So I went into the city with my who is now my ex-girlfriend at the time. Me and Jess recently broke up. There's nothing bad happened or anything like that. It's just for mental health. Here's the thing. This is the advice I would give somebody, right? If they're having mental health problems, right? For some reason, it's weird saying mental health problems. It just sounds bad. I feel like the way everything is worded always just sounds terrible. You know what I'm saying? But doesn't even matter at all. You shouldn't be in a relationship, in my opinion. If you're figuring you out, you should figure you out first. You are way more important, and then you get into a relationship. You should not be trying to keep two people afloat if you cannot keep yourself afloat. That's the advice I would give somebody. So I took my own advice, right? Because I feel like people wouldn't even take that advice if I was to give it to them. And that was a tough choice. Sacrificing things for the future of happiness, right, is needed. So let's keep it bussing, shall we? Chicago did not help. I thought getting away and not working, it just kind of made it worse. My anxiety was really bad pretty much the entire time. It was not a good time. I was depressed. I think the anxiety led to depression because I ruminate, right? And that's once I started getting a little bit of depression. So my dad got diagnosed with cancer in in April of 2017, I think. Yeah. And then my dog died May 15th, 4 days before my birthday. And then my dad died November 4th, I think. And then, I was going full time on YouTube, so that was stressful. And then some bullshit in my relationship happened, and then I had to deal with that. So that just cracked me right there. I'm not really going to talk about that because that's not really too important about what it was, but are just things that I guess built up over time, And so this is a reason why I think those stressful. That's kind of a lot though in a year, right? It's a good thing to go full time on YouTube, but there is stress. My childhood dog dying. It was stressful, but my dad was going through cancer, so it wasn't that bad. We just kind of came home one day, and I was like, hey, he's going to die. Not my dad, the dog. I was like, you're soon. Him? Yeah, he's going to die tomorrow. We're going to have to take him tomorrow. And they're like, what? I'm like, look at the way he's breathing. He's breathing super fast. I'm trying to I think people think I'm nervous. I think somebody commented that when I talk fast, I just talk really fast. I need to slow it down. I think I do that on stage too. I just like talking fast because I hate when people talk slowly. So I'm like... we'll calm it down. But so that all that happened, and then I don't know, the dad dying. People say I listen to Jordan Peterson a lot, so it's like, this one philosopher, somebody said like, you don't become a man until the day your dad dies, which, I mean, it's totally obviously, it's such a different shift. It's huge. Like it's there's just been so many things, I feel like that led up to this happening in November. I mean, I was at the end of it, like in the morning on the last day of on the vacation. I just had like an anxiety attack the whole way home. It was awful. Like my chest was tight. I was like hyperventilating in the beginning. It was awful. It's terrible. And it's so unlike me. And I was like crying and shit. Like so unlike me to like cry at all or get emotional fucking at all. Like that doesn't happen. I didn't cry when my dad died. Did not cry at the funeral. Doesn't happen to me. So me developing anxiety and depression, crying all the time or getting anxious and like breaking down, like is not me. Did I hear my dog bark? That means he wants to play. He has nothing else to do. He just went out. So let's see what else. So as I was like having that anxiety attack, I was like, I need to go to therapy and I need to go to a psychiatrist. I feel like a lot of people wait. I was like, no. Like, we're doing this now. Like, we're getting this fixed fucking right now, okay? And here's right away, I from me going to psychiatrists and therapists, so I'm speaking about this now because it has been fixed, which sounds really weird. I mean, I'm going to talk about the things that we're going through the timeline, but to say that I just got it fixed, and I mean, I wish I knew about this earlier, but it's fine. I am glad I went through all this. I feel like this isn't, I don't know. I'm just trying to talk about it from my perspective, and I wouldn't try and like convey something. I don't know what I'm trying to get at here. I'm just trying to talk and get my thoughts out, I guess. But to me, the therapy and the psychiatrist, SSRIs, man, I was just not like, the therapy was just a waste of my fucking time. I felt like every doctor and psychiatrist just did not take it too seriously, to be totally honest. So like, for instance, my primary doctor is a complete fucking loser. Hate that guy after meeting with him. Like, he told me I was gonna like die alone and shit because like I told him I don't care if I get married or have kids. He was a piece of shit. I was like, why would you say that, man? I was like, that's really depressing. As I come here for depression and shit. I was like, what is wrong with you? And then he told me that like this was his scientific evidence based off of why he thinks like medical marijuana and pot is bad for you. Okay? This is the truth. This is not straight verbatim, but I swear on my life. All right, this dude goes, yeah, so I knew this one guy in college, okay? He would smoke pot all the time. He used to clip his toenails and keep them. I saw him 10 years later. Why am I trying to pretend like I'm looking at like an audience? And when I saw him 10 years later, he didn't remember. But me and my friends remembered he kept it. It's because he smoked pot. He forgot. I was like, you should kill yourself, buddy. Right now. End it in front of me, please. Like, how ignorant can you be? What? He's a doctor. He's a doctor, okay? And then all of them were just honestly garbage. So what I started with was Lexapro. That helped a little bit. I don't really remember too much, honestly. I mean, they put me on Lexapro and I had Xanax if I wanted it. Lexapro worked, I guess, in the beginning a little bit, and then it stopped working. And then I think I went on like Effexor. I'm on it right now. Effexor. I should probably tell you guys my milligrams of it. I mean, it doesn't really matter at all. None of this medication fucking matters. And let me explain why. This is going to sound terrible, all right? But it's not terrible. It's not terrible at all because this is the future. And I still want to talk about the rest of it, but I want to tell you guys what I did to fix it and why I'm okay to talk about it today because I feel almost 100% better compared to yesterday. I'm going to make a separate video about it because like I feel like me saying it obviously isn't going to be enough. There's so much information. It's such an insane sentence to a lot of people who haven't heard it that it's I would have to make a whole video about it. But if you wanted, I'll just tell what I did, and then we're going to keep talking about the timeline. I'll be making the video maybe after this or sometime later this week. As you can see, I haven't moved out yet. I'm moving after tomorrow. Well, I'm moving on Thursday. I'm not sure when this video is going up. I've just been, I'll explain. So I've been super busy packing all this shit. So none of this stuff is working. Like, none of the pills are working. None of this shit works. Like, obviously Xanax and stuff works, obviously, but you're not going to be taking that shit all the time. Dude, and to me, so what I did was, you guys should look this up. Look up ketamine for depression and anxiety and chronic pain. It's a breakthrough in depression. Like they think it's going to end depression in society because it works in 75 to 80% of people. What they do is an IV drip of ketamine from a doctor. I'm not snorting ketamine in my bathroom. What they do is they give, I'm going to explain it in another video, but really they just drip it into you. And it fixes 75% of people within the first 2 hours. I mean, you got to get multiple of them, and I'll talk about it, but it fixes you for real. And it's a breakthrough. All the other shit sucked. For real. This shit, instantly, I left anxiety. Like, I'm so calm. Like, my mom was like, I've never seen you this calm. In the past 8 months, it for real worked. And I cannot wait to talk about it more after this. But if you think that's, like, insane, I understand completely. If you want to look up your own information beforehand, you totally can. Because I'm definitely not going to talk about it accurately. I'm just going to talk about what I know off the top of my head and my experience with it, which I think is kind of more important because you could just look up the facts, and my experience with it, since I have been through it, I think actually is probably more important than the facts because they're searchable. But let's go through the timeline, right? Like, the Lexapro I was on wasn't working. Therapy was like a fucking bore because, like, I feel like with therapy, it was just a guy who was like 26, 27. If you're watching this, man, I'm sorry. He was just like too young, and it just felt like I was talking to a guy. Just talking, like, what's up, buddy? Yeah, you want to hang out after this? Nah. Like, it just felt like we were, I don't know. I want to say, he seemed a little intimidated. I want to say that, but I don't want to say that. I get that a lot, though. Pretty intimidating. Watch out. So, that sucked. Stopped that. Got super, what I want to talk about, like, if you guys are going to also look up the ketamine thing, like, all this shit is really expensive. Like, therapy and psychiatrists and medicine, it's time. It doesn't work right away. You got to wait. And, like, that was the problem, obviously. I feel like I was talking about something, but obviously it's all up to your own experience. Like, SSRIs and everything just has it has a low percentage rating, right? Like 30%, I think. I'm not sure. That's not a fact that I know. But for some people, that stuff works, and for some people, it doesn't. But it's, dude, I couldn't, like, whenever I was sick, I don't get sick. Like, I don't get, like, rarely, very fucking rarely will I ever get, like, really, like, actually sick. What I meant by sick every time I'd post it is I was in deep depression or anxiety. Like, you can't make a YouTube video, a comedy video when you're depressed. Are you joking? Like, that is not even possible. Like, depression, if you don't have depression or never had it, it doesn't exist. That's what I always tell people. Like, before I had it, and even now, talking about it after having it, it's really hard to talk about because it's like it's not like a real thing. It's not like anxiety, you can remember, like, your chest tightens up, you get, like, really, like you feel like something, like, I don't know, that's actually hard to describe too. A lot of urgency, a lot of, my anxiety would, like, stop me from doing a lot of things, so I'd get anxious about it, and then I'd get depressed more because I wasn't working, but, like, I don't know if it was anxiety or depression, I guess, but my anxiety would cause me to ruminate bad thoughts, which would increase depression. It would get so bad, like, so bad, that the best way I can describe it is, like, if you know that you could kind of feel everything around you a little bit. When you're anxious, you can, like, literally feel that there's shit all around you. But like, right now I'm totally fine. So, like, I kind of can't feel the things around me, but if you kind of can, you know what I'm talking about. I had this theory that when it was happening to me, I was like, damn. I was like, depression, it feels like it sets off the pain receptor in your brain. Like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, because it hurts. Like, it's pain. Like, that's the whole thing. And it's true. And I feel like mine was just, I have a really, really high pain tolerance. Like, I had a terrible back throughout high school, super good pain tolerance, but this was insane. It was like, is ethereal the right word? Ethereal? It was such astonishing pain that you can't pinpoint it. It's just there. It's, like, so frightening. I have no idea. It's like just your being, like yourself, you know, like your sense of self is in pain. Your physical body isn't, but, like, so then, like, I'm, like, crying and shit, and I'm like physically, like, shit, like, in pain, like, on the couch crying. You just gotta ride that shit out, you know? Like, what are you gonna do? Or pop some Xanax. It was terrible, and it was like ruining my life. I was like, I could never do 40 years of like that bad, how bad it would get. I couldn't do 40 years, to be totally honest. Honestly, 40 years from now, I would have been like, fuck this shit. Fuck it. No, absolutely not. 60 years old and going through pain like that, I'm popping myself, dead ass. Not happening. I could not do that for 40 years. I can't even work a job for like more than 8 months because I get bored. When was the last job I worked? Like the last job. Was it Nordstrom Rack? Nah, Chili's. Chili's. That was tight. That actually was pretty tight. That was fun. That was easy. All right, moving on. It would always make me feel bad. Like, I don't like taking days off, and I don't take days off because I want to. Why? I love what I do. This is so much fun for me. So I never take off days because I'm lazy. Because it doesn't. It takes effort, right? I mean, I go hard at it. I try and what is it? I don't know. I try and get to that point of you know, if there's this point that you can get to where you're just being Wineboxpapi, I guess. Like that's this point I kind of have to get to that I can easily get to whenever I want. Like I just did it today because I'm fixed now, for real, which is beautiful. I can't wait to just talk about it more after this. But it's, you know, I apologize in the video because I'm not going to tell I was like, you know, I'm sorry, but I feel bad, but I shouldn't apologize, obviously, because it's for mental health, dog. Like you need to take the time off. Like it's unreal how impossible it is to do. I couldn't imagine having a job. I would have quit everything, anything. I couldn't imagine the people who go to work with anxiety and depression. Like I wouldn't go to work if I had a headache, if I was coughing, but this was like for real terrible. I cannot believe people would actually go to work if you were experiencing shit like this. Like I could never. It was hard to live. It was hard to just like life was a burden type shit. It was awful. And like that, and my life is on paper and in my eyes, perfect. It is in my eyes right now, absolutely perfect. There's no like real stress. I mean, of course there's stress with like editing and performing and stuff like this and with the future, but like that's good stress, right? Like I'm not freaking out cuz like anxiety and all that stuff is like I always forget words when I'm doing this. That's the worst part. I always forget words when I'm talking to you guys. You guys comment down below. You guys will remind me. But they're dumb. They're stupid. They're things you worry about. They're things that you shouldn't worry about. Like a lot of people do that, worry about things they shouldn't worry about. But maybe that is their anxiety or something. But like this was like terrible. And it wouldn't even be like certain things. It would just be stopping you, I guess. And then I would be ruminating, I guess, about bad things. I guess like how bad my life is. Even though it wasn't true, it would become true and you believe it. Like that's what these things do. Well, it's believable because it's in the current state at which you're feeling it. It's the truth. You feel like your life sucks because it kind of does, right? Your life sucks if you have that. And usually, right, like before I was like seeing if I was depressed and stuff, I was like looking into it, and like if you have like I got a lot of friends, I had a good relationship at the time, I had an awesome job, and so all those things added up to like I shouldn't have depression, right? So that's why it's just like I think. Either like the misalignment or whatever. That's why we're doing the SSRIs, but now we did the ketamine. And it was like some people might just be depressed because of like what's going on in their life and things that they can control. None of my behavior, aside from not really seeing too many people, is the only thing. Like, I guess with the good friends, like I don't really hang with people too much. That's something like I'm moving to the city and hopefully I can like meet with a lot of people because I don't like to be around people because you get influenced by them and their cadence and everything, right? Which isn't good. Because if your friends are losers, I'm not saying mine are, but not all of them are winners, right? Because that would be insane. But you want to surround yourself with like-minded people, right? None of my friends are comedians. None of my friends are doing this shit. So we going out to the city, hopefully, to just surround ourselves with good work, awesome, fun stuff. You know, like, even if it's work, it's still fun. I want to connect with people, collab, do a bunch of shit like this. I got to keep looking at the time. Oh, let me wait, what time? What time is it? Because I got to restart the camera. Can I do this from here? Can I do this like right here? Yeah, okay. I wish that camera recorded forever. What else do I want to talk about? I feel like I didn't. I feel like I did touch on it, but not enough, you know? Because the 8 months, like, it's so weird, especially being in, I guess, in my position, I guess is worse for some reason, just because, I mean, I would feel bad, and I would feel bad about feeling bad because of the position I'm in, right? I was like, I shouldn't be. And I think that's definitely what started it off. Of course, you're human, and even millionaires feel bad. Millionaires kill themselves all the time, right? It doesn't matter. Obviously, none of that matters. Like, what I do and everything, it doesn't pick and choose. Like, this is what I'm trying to get at. It was awful. And I kind of want, I don't know how I'm going to talk about this or bring it up more. It's so difficult to talk about objectively if it's gone. It's, I guess it would be better probably as I go on and can reflect on it more. But this is just, I wanted to explain to everybody what's going on and what kind of still is going on. I mean, I got my first IV of the ketamine yesterday, and I'm getting another one tomorrow, another one after that. I mean, I'm getting like 5 more, and then a booster, and that fixes you. And I'm just going to keep getting better. It's insane. I'm super pumped. I can't wait to explain about the ketamine probably right after this. I might smoke a little and then talk about it, maybe. Or I feel like I shouldn't, because I feel like people are going to click on that. I'm not going to. People are going to click on that video and be like, I want research. And if I go, I'm high, I'm going to talk about ketamine, they're going to be pissed. Oh, the camera is on. For some reason, I didn't think it was recording for a second. That was scary. I actually didn't really go through the timeline. There really wasn't much, I guess, from the November to now. It was just trying to figure it out. Just trying to do whatever it took. You know, it was, at times it would get fixed and it would be good, and I would never be 100% better. And then recently I was just like smoking so much just to like escape like life. Like I could not handle that shit at all. Like it was awful. It was so bad. The burden of life was too terrible to bear, which is awful. Which is like so unlike me, because I'm always like so excited to live and to wake up. Like I love life. So having that was such, I guess, fascinating. You know, I feel like I kind of asked for it, because like when I was a kid, I always would see these commercials and I would be like, Mom, how does a pill make you happy? I don't get it. How can these people be sad and you just take a pill? And she'd be like, are you sad? Why are you asking? You want to take those? I was like, what the fuck? I'm 4. I was just curious, man. I feel like a little part of me wanted to experience that a little bit for some reason, because it's not really describable. It's only really experienceable. You know, in the future, I guarantee in 10 years, ketamine it's gonna be the first line of defense. It's gonna take away depression in society and stuff, at least in 75% of people. If you're looking it up and you're like, oh, it's not FDA approved, they just made a copy of it. It's called S-ketamine, and that is FDA approved. Right now I'm just trying to think if there's anything I think I missed. But, you know, let's round out. So this is why I want to talk. If you're going through this, and if you, for some reason, feel ashamed or like not like a man, no. Being a man, right, is dealing with the problem you have in front of you, okay? If you have depression and anxiety, don't go, nah, I'm a guy. Start talking about your feelings, man. If you don't talk about your feelings, you're a bitch. For real. That is a non-man thing to do, is to not talk about your feelings. It's very important, especially if somebody is making you feel that way, right? I think people really do need to audit everything that's going on in their lives. I think a lot of people's depression probably is, take a shot every time I touch the microphone, okay? I'm trying to adjust for your perfect ears. And it's expensive. I love holding it like a little cock or like a mug of tea. You know, like you're sitting out the window with your sweater on, just drinking the tea from this microphone. What the fuck was I saying? You know, yeah, audit what's going on. Like, do you not like your job? Like, look at your friends, your relationship with your girl, your parents. You know, if your parents are anxious, if your girl is, if your homies are, like, try and like audit the time with them and take some action here. I would highly suggest looking into ketamine if it's been unbearable for a while, if you got some money. If you don't, insurance doesn't take it. So If you could do credit card, it's so worth it to save your life, honestly. Especially if you've been going through this for a while. I'll be talking about it more. But it's hard. When people are always like, "Oh, reach out to your friends." That's dumb, right? Like, but it's also right. It's not dumb, but it's like, there's so many friends, at least from my perspective, there's so many friends who you can't tell. You're not going to know that the person's depressed or anxious unless they tell you first, right? Like, they're not, at least to me, I wouldn't tell a lot of people. I would be pretty open about it. Actually, I wasn't really open about it. I was open about it to the homies and a few people, but I wasn't, until I knew I was getting the ketamine, I wasn't too open about it. Just because I didn't want, I don't know. I don't know what I didn't want. I guess I didn't want fake, maybe it wasn't, I didn't want like fake friends, because like it kind of reminded me of like, when a family member dies. So when my dad died, this was the most annoying fucking thing ever. I hate when people are nice to you. When something bad happens to you, dude, that shit pissed me off. I remember every person that was like too nice to me because my dad died. And now they're not. I'm like, you guys are, I knew they were going to do this. I hate people like that. Where they text you out of the blue. They're like, how you been? How you doing? So if you made a post like this, that's the type of shit that would happen. And, when you're depressed and anxious, like if I made a post about it, like I wouldn't want to respond to all the messages because I didn't want to do fucking anything. Like I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to eat food. I didn't want to even like smoke pot. I didn't want to do anything. Like I didn't want to smoke. Like I had to force myself to smoke to feel better. So if you are, it's hard to look at it as not embarrassing. It really is. I totally understand. I get it. It is. But it's not. A lot of things are embarrassing, but they're not. I'm just trying to think of trying to give options of who you can talk to. Some parents might not believe in it. I know my mom was having a hard time coming to grips with the depression shit. Because older parents, that's a huge problem. They don't get that shit, especially older men parents, right? Where it's like they teach you to be a man, don't cry, bitch, type shit. Am I getting a phone call? That better be really important because I'm not coming over there. We're busy. But even as embarrassing as you think it is, if it makes you uncomfortable to hit somebody up, that's the most important thing to do is to hit somebody up. And I know it might be controversial. I don't know. It's probably not controversial, but of telling people you can definitely hit up your friends if you think they have depression or anxiety. Like if you know they do, please do. But I'm not saying it's hard to just look at somebody and be like, do you have it? No? He doesn't smell like it. I don't know. I'm not going to hit that guy up. I'm going to try. And also, for some reason, I feel like I have to say this just because men are disgusting. I feel like if you know a girl with depression and anxiety, don't hit her up and be nice to her just to fuck her. I feel like that would happen a lot. I just had to dispel that really quick. That would make you a really shitty person. Really terrible. That'd be not good. So, says you. Go for it. I don't care, actually. Not my pussy. So, I don't know if, I'm a guy. I don't know if women have an easier time with this, but as a man, I don't know, emotions, I guess, being honest with emotions has always been a problem for every guy, I would guess. You kind of want people to know. You're expecting people. I guess I would expect my mom to know how I'm feeling or somebody. I don't know. I always expected to feel good, and I guess you would expect when I would ask for help, I would always want. I don't know. It's hard to ask your mom for help who's never had it. It's just I don't know. It's just talking to certain people. My best friend Jamie helped me so much. She's such one of the best people to talk to. And if you have somebody you can go to and not feel embarrassed to talk to, I would say if you can't talk to somebody, isn't that wasn't there a statistic where a lot of kids don't have close friends or something like that? Or it used to be 4 to 5 close friends, now it's 0 to 2. But if you don't have close friends we can talk this to, you need to find some. And that's where it comes into auditing yourself as well. This made me do a lot of self-reflection where I want to heavily, not heavily, but I definitely want to change my cadence and my person, right? My thought process and things like that. I have to get back. I just have to relearn myself. I'm turning 24 next month. And there's a lot of changes happening, but I've also never really reflected. I've never really looked at my past, look at how I acted and how I changed and what I've learned and that's what depression and anxiety would make me do at certain times, would make me reflect. And I would be my own therapist, I guess. I mean, I've taken psychology courses and stuff, but that's not obviously enough. But I felt like I did a lot more for myself by doing inner reflection. But what I also did, I'm never grateful. I have to be. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for this job, obviously, but I'm never openly grateful. I never feel gratefulness. I've never been a grateful kid. I'm just a selfish asshole, honestly. I'm actually a pretty nice guy. I promise. The asshole part, something I could totally be. Look at my Wineboxpapi. But did I not pronounce that X? Am I not pronouncing some of my words right now? What was I just saying? I don't really remember. About like the being grateful, the cadence. I mean, I want to. This is what I'm going for right now. I'm really finding a lot of love in talking to people. Like, not okay. So when I made that video or that podcast, you can go watch about why I hate people. I actually found out the answer through all of this. Is I hate the exterior of people. Not the interior. I think everybody's interior is, when they're passionate, when they're being a human being, and they're not being this fake outward appearance to you to make you like them at first, right? Like, I'm trying to keep it 100 every time I see you. Like, I'm this guy, me, Mark, everywhere. Everywhere I go. At least I'm trying as much as I possibly can. Because the exterior person is like, what? Hey, man, hey, how's it going? Yeah, no, I love sports. I would love to watch those with you. Yeah, like, I could never imagine having an exterior except for, like, at a job interview. At work. But that's about it. But, like, what I want to do is, like, get into having conversations with people about, because I've had conversations with people who don't do stuff like this. Like, Humans of New York, I kind of want to, you guys can take this if you want to. You guys can take this idea. You're not going to do as good as me, though. Just kidding. Do it, please. I do want to do this with, like, local people and people I find interesting. I want to see how fast we can get into a good conversation. I want to have good conversations. Like, I've done podcasts with people before, but a lot of them were boring as fuck, and that was a good practice, right? I mean, that's what I was doing it for. I was practicing for the future of when I could utilize more interview skills. I'm getting better at, I'm just getting better at everything I'm doing. But what I'm liking is figuring out what makes people tick and, like, helping them through it or looking. I don't know. I just love when things matter, when discussions matter. That's why. Because whenever you talk to somebody, I hate when it doesn't fucking matter. Like, if we're talking, this conversation should matter. I don't want to waste my fucking time. Like, if you sit with... So I went to a family party on Easter, and I was talking to my cousins and everybody like this. I was talking like this, passionately, talking about all this shit with all the young kids and the adults. And then once the young kids stopped talking, or, like, once I was done being the leader of that talk, we went to go get food, came back outside, and then the old people started talking, and the difference between conversation was so immense. Like, I was talking about how my cousins are going to kill it, what they could do to further their career, all this shit, deep knowledge, given practitionable advice that they can have, or, like, talk about anything. It doesn't even have to be that. It could be about why the times have changed. We can talk about anything. Anything I'm usually pretty interested in if you're interested in it. If it's, like, a true interest and I see a sparkle in that person's eye, then I'm going to want to talk about it, right? Because I want to talk about things that matter to them, because that's when, like, I'll get excited, right? Because, like I said, like, the conversation the older parents were having, or the older adults were awful. Like, so how's Susie been? She's good? How's she look? Oh, she looks good? All right. Can't believe she's still kicking. Like, that's the conversation to everybody. They all have that same conversation. And that's why I think if the intent is good, if the content is good, I think it's going to work. I think putting that out into the world, like, right when I made the decision to start having, like, way better conversations, they just started happening, I guess. Like, my uncle came over for 2 hours. We just chilled, just talked for, like, 2 hours. And I think there was another 2 hours that we needed. I want to talk with people and see other people's perspectives. Because there's always, even if it's a wrong perspective, like, factually wrong, it's still fascinating to see maybe why they think that. And maybe somebody else can think that way. And there's going to be a lot of tips and things you can find in talking to anybody, right? You might make you think a different way, might show you something about you. And it's not even about people who have followings or are doing anything in art. It's about people who are willing to be open and passionate on camera, right? Naked. I think just because passion made me think about porn for some reason, because I'm a guy, fat tits. Yeah, now I'm only gonna think about his tits now, and now I want to eat waffles. I think that's going to sum it up. You know, I couldn't really be honest about it in the beginning just because it's so difficult. I don't know. It's so difficult to talk about when you're going through it, but it's also you don't really want to think about it. You want to be living. You don't want to bring it up in the moment, because then you're gonna start thinking about it. But to me, at least, you would start ruminating, getting anxiety about it, and then I would start thinking about how my life was bad. But now there's nothing. I'm completely calm, no anxiety, and no depression. Currently sitting to 0 for all of them. I'm just really hungry right now, which is incredible. And I'm about to talk about the ketamine right after this. And that should come out hopefully maybe next week. I'm moving after tomorrow. Got another ketamine tomorrow, so I don't know when any of this is going to come out, and I have to edit right now, and I have a meeting tonight. I have to cook. Oh, boy. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. Links down below if you want to help sponsor me and my beautiful dog, keep us fed. Everything I'd advertise is linked down below. Thank you guys for listening everywhere if you guys want to, except for SoundCloud, because I'm not paying monthly for that shit. And thank you guys so much for watching and listening. It really does mean the world to me. And, you know, if anybody wants to talk, I definitely am here to talk. If you want tips, I obviously can't give you all day. I definitely will respond if you DM me, but I can't give you hours, but I will respond to you type shit. Because I appreciate you guys, and I really am. What is it? Grateful. I really am, and that's not even like one of those fake things where I feel like I have to be a fake grateful. It's just realizing that I haven't been. And I think I didn't tell this story, and I'm gonna tell it at the end. If you guys already logged off, yeah, it sucks for you. So I never took the pedal off. From when I dropped out of college, I just started grinding super hard. I was reading like every waking hour of the day until I figured out. I was just trying things. I was always working. I was never doing fun things. I was always like not talking to people, just straight up work, head to the grindstone until now recently. And then I kind of just stopped down here in my basement, actually, you know, before I leave. And I just kind of looked around and everything, you know, having it all set up differently. I feel like my voice is weird today. Am I like having a slur for some reason? I looked it up. If you have too much vitamin C, you can have a slur. I feel like I have a slur sometimes. People think I'm a heavy drinker because of my red face too, so this is not helping. Not helping at all. I also sound nervous, which is weird. Women make me nervous. When I took the pedal off and just looked around, you know, I mean, I have like a ton of stuff. So like for work, it's not about the stuff thing, but it's the stuff that I've accomplished in like a year or two. Like even like looking at it year by year, it's like I cried, low key, high key cried. But I think, you know, like the main goal now, I mean, this has kind of always been a goal, like, but I would always say this sometimes on Twitter, like, you know, comedy, or I've said it once, like comedy and all of this is the vehicle. I mean, I want to do comedy forever, but I also want to speak about like having people learn to love themselves. Like that's, and then seeing the exact opposite of major love is insane. It's deep. And, you know, I definitely think I experienced this for a reason. Definitely am not, I would rather have it happen than not happen. But did I not finish the story of like me? Whatever. just be more grateful for what you do have. And I want people to be able to look. This is, you know, for guys out there, this is a big one for guys. If you're feeling a little, pick up some responsibility. And that might sound like an asshole thing to say, but once you realize like you can make a real change, you can fucking do this. Man, I'm going way over. I shouldn't even have ended it back there. But this is what we do. They just start coming up. They start popping up. And we're running out of time. It's going to be a long-ass episode, baby. But you have the power to change the things around you. You absolutely do. If you, that's the things I'm going to start talking about. Maybe that's the next topic. Maybe I'll make a whole video about that. Yeah, let's do that. You have the power to change that shit. I like that. All right, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Mwah.